I would like to acknowledge that this video is being filmed on the traditional lands of the Wurrundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to their elders past and present, and extend that respect to any Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islander or First Nations people who may be watching this video today. Hi everyone, it's Steph here. Yes, I am post-shower with wet hair, and I would have dried it more, except it's really muggy and sticky and gross here, so I'm not going to do that because I don't need that in my life. And one of the transition kids, so we started transition today for next year's foundation students, gave me a stab, so I've got to wash that off. I'll need to do that in a minute. Today I'm doing a reading vlog for one of my most anticipated books this year, Resting Witch Face by Juliette Cross. I got approved for one of the ARC copies and I'm so excited. Like I found out today during work and I was just like, I need to go home, I need to go home, I need to go home, and I need to read it. So that's what we're doing tonight. I am, yeah, very eager to read this, and I thought might as well film it as a reading vlog, just like I did with Always Practice Safe Hex. Continue the theme going with the series because this is one of my all-time favorite series and I have been hanging out for Jules and Ruben's story. This book comes out on the 31st of October, so thank you very much to Juliette and her team for the review copy. I'm going to start reading it in a minute. Apologies for the lighting changes. Melbourne is being Melbourne. We are possibly getting a ginormous storm later, but who knows if we'll actually get that. But I'm going to sit here in my little cozy Halloween reading corner with my newest friend, and we're going to read Resting Witch Face. But before we do that, I'm going to quickly take some social media photos. I'm going to do a really quick currently reading TikTok video and also my Instagram photo so that I can post my review for it when I'm done. Might even light a candle. I got this gorgeous new candle. Hang on, I'll show you. If you haven't seen it, this is the top of my living room bookshelf, and this is my new candle. It is from Royal Essence, which is a candle company here in Australia, and they hide jewelry in their candles, so you have to burn them and then you can pull the jewelry out. It's all wrapped safely and nice and protected. I've had many of their candles before, but they had their Halloween range and I could have got both, but I just decided to only get one, and I love this design. Once it's done burning, I'm going to be keeping this candle container and using it to store stuff. Got my book. I've got some witchy ambience happening. Time to start reading. FYI for anyone who starts this book, have a fan handy. Pretty sure I haven't read a book that's an opening that steamy in a while. It's great though. Just wasn't expecting it, but it does start with a flashback. Anyway, I suppose I should probably say for anyone who doesn't know, Resting Witch Face is book 5 in the Stay a Spell series. It is about the oldest of the Savoy sisters, Jules, who is also one of the leaders of the supernatural community, and she has had a previous relationship with the most powerful vampire in New Orleans, Ruben, in the past, and now their relationship through the series has sort of been tentative at best because something's happened between them and we don't quite know what. We know that they're attracted to each other, but they won't actually enter into a relationship again. And in this book, I'm pretty sure they're forced to work together on a supernatural problem and go traveling somewhere, I think, from memory. I've been eagerly waiting the book. I just don't like to know exactly what's going on. But yes, I'm going to keep reading now, so I may stop and update sporadically, but if not, I will let you guys know at the end. That is the jewelry that's floated to the top of the candle. So I'm going to take it out and I'll show you what I get. So this is the ring. It's a really pretty blue, and you get a little code to find out how much it's worth. I don't care how much this is because it's so simple and beautiful, and I really love that. Like, it's just really pretty. It was also wrapped in like 2 layers of foil and plastic. That's what I got in my little candle. I finished Resting Witch Face. I even made notes to remember what I wanted to say so that I don't spoil things, but I can talk about it. So the whole point of Jules and Ruben traveling around to different witch guilds is because they're trying to pass a couple of reforms. One being to give werewolves a voice, because throughout the whole series, werewolves have sort of been the outcasts of the supernatural world because of the curse that made them werewolves in the first place. So they're trying to overturn that. They also want to get them seats in the Coven guilds around the US and in the UK. So they start off in the US. So they're talking to some of the local guilds, and then they're heading over to the UK, London being sort of one of the original melting pots of supernaturals. And there are some shady things going on over there. But the first 50% is really Jules and Reuben getting over the thing that happened to them 12 years ago in their first relationship. I won't say what happened because spoilers, but you do get it around the 50% mark, just a little bit before then. And it has to do with Jules being very young and only having just come into her role as the enforcer for New Orleans, and part of the perception of her relationship and the way that Reuben acted in that relationship. That said, it doesn't appear that he was doing things deliberately, but they still had an impact and an effect. So now 12 years later, they're dealing with the ramifications of that. As I said, opening chapter, the prologue, on point, totally on point. Then we go straight into Isadora and Dev's wedding, which I love that. That was amazing. I mean, the real core of these stories is family and found family, because while you have the Savoy sisters and their actual blood family, and in this one we get more of the parents and also their grandmother, you also have the found family of their partners and also their friendship group. So like that, it's just so lovely. It's why I come back to these books. They're just so cozy in their little supernatural world stuff, which, speaking of, I love the supernatural world and the way that Juliette Cross has crafted all of the different supernaturals, the hierarchy, how everything works, the fact that you have the Coven guilds, and how the sort of leader for each part of state area, I don't know, I'm blanking on the words. It's quite late at night.
The word I'm looking for is region, so the leader of the region. I don't know why I couldn't get that out of my mouth last night, but yes, I was very tired.
Is always the most powerful supernatural. So Jules has an incredible amount of power. She's the enforcer for New Orleans. She's in charge of a huge area, and all of the supernaturals who fall within that area fall under her jurisdiction. By contrast, Reuben is the vampire overlord for the area, so he's the highest ranking, most powerful vampire in the area, but technically he is still subordinate to Jules. So there's a really interesting power dynamic because he is technically subordinate to her. However, in their relationship, he's incredibly dominant, and she is only submissive to him in that regard. And through the course of the book, we see how that relationship dynamic evens out and how she recognizes when she actually can and should accept his assistance and when it's her job to take the lead. Same with him. He recognizes when he should and when he shouldn't, and he learns to ask, or to at least, well, not ask, he learns to tell her is probably the better way to say it. And he explains why. That I did like. For any Ren Fair enthusiasts, there is a Ren Fair scene in here. Loved it. Loved it. And also, talking about Lorena McKennitt, I have not listened to Lorena McKennitt for years, and now I just want to go and find all of her music because I love her. I totally identify with Jules in a lot of ways because she is my kind of introvert, because there's a totally great description of Jules and how she reacts to having to be in, or the thought of being in a crowded space with people she doesn't know is totally me. That's my anxiety, and I just felt very seen on page. So I'm just, that's totally random, but we're going to just put it out there. And of course that scene happens while they're staying in a bed and breakfast with only one bed, and there happens to be like a spiritual sexuality retreat going on, including a tantric sex demonstration going on outside their window, which, on point, laughed out loud, love that. And also the other thing I loved in this is we get more, obviously we get more of Reuben's history, but we meet his parents, and his parents are just precious. I love them so much. And then of course we sort of get to the end, and that was an emotional roller coaster. There is content warnings in this book for torture and for quite a lot of violence and gore, and I'm trying to think back to whether or not this was more or less than always practice safe hex, but I would say this one probably comes across as a little bit more violent, because so far in the series Reuben has been very much the gentleman and Jules has been very much the leader, and in this case there are some very large altercations because both of them have an incredible amount of power, and when, you know, they get into trouble and their mates are threatened, you know, bad things happen. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. This was not at all what I thought was going to happen in the book, but my goodness, I cannot say that I didn't enjoy myself, and I'm just very happy that they got their HEA. Plus, you know, bonus points for seeing all of the other characters and all of the babies, because we do see a lot of Evie and Mateo's kids in this book as well at the beginning and in the end, and I love them. I really enjoyed this. I thought the pacing was really on point. I liked that we didn't quite get their second chance as early in the book as I was worried we were going to get it. Then you kind of don't build up the tension. I was also very grateful that the conflict in the story was external conflict. It was not them having another issue in their relationship. Once they get their relationship back on point, they're all good, and I totally appreciate that, because no, we couldn't do that again. So yes, very steamy, very fun, very engaging, great next installment in the series, and Clara and Henry's book is next, and now I have to wait for that, but that's okay because it'll be good and it's something to look forward to. Okay, so that is my initial thoughts on Resting Witchface. Thank you very much again to Juliette and the ARC team for sending me an ARC. I'm just so happy. Like, that's totally made my week. This week has been a week and this has been the highlight. So I am very, very grateful. I will have reviews on Instagram and on my blog, and this reading vlog go up in the next couple of days. So thanks for watching, and definitely let me know in the comments if you're planning on reading Resting Witchface. I will leave all the links to pre-order and everything down below so that you can check it out. If you want to let me know that you're here but you don't want to leave a comment, feel free to leave any kind of emoji that reminds you of witchy vibes or vampires. Like, take your pick. Otherwise, I hope that wherever you're in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone.